Okay, this is part 4. So we started to make our data, and I'm gonna, I hope everyone is following how we're entering the data, and when you create this whole one, then what you're gonna do is add in 2 more groups. So we're gonna add in groups for water and for moist sand. And we're going to label here moist, sand, and water. And we can choose a triangle for moist sand, and how about a circle for water, and you can pick your colors and then go ahead. What I wanted to show you is when you add in 3 groups, the data is now stacked on top of each other. So it's going to help to know that the X value is first. It's always first in a set of ordered pairs. So you might want to go in and type the X values in first, and then go back and fill in the Y values from what you have in your chart. So moist sand for 0 would be 23, and you'd fill in 23. Now, for time's purposes, I'm going to jump to one that's already been created and go back to the data. Okay, so I chose orange for moist sand and blue for water. And you can see I've partially filled in the chart for both of these. And again, okay, that's the same at the bottom. And let's look at this. So what we have here is our legend on the right, heating of land and water. Our temperature is along the y-axis vertically, and on the x-axis horizontally is our time in minutes. And you can see we have a finished graph. Interesting. We have our finished graph with our finished data, and if I go back and click on this one in data, then all of the data has then been filled in. Alright, so what do we do once we have our graph? Now we're going to look at analyzing this data. In order to do so, we need to go back and look at the questions. So I'm going to go into my assessment, and again, here's our data, which we've organized in our chart, so it's clear to read. And the question says, use the data above or your own data if you did the lab at home to make a graph on your own paper. Be sure to label the graph. Be neat and accurate. Did you draw the graph? Okay, well, yes. I'm not going to go through all these questions, but I just want to show you how you can use this data to answer the questions. So did heating and cooling occur at the same rate in each beaker? Explain. So let's look at our graph. Let's look at what's happening. Once we plot the data, it shows us a picture. And we can see that as time elapses, that the dry sand has a greater rise in temperature, or it heats up faster than the moist sand and the water. And we can see that the moist sand starts off heating up about the same rate as the water, but then about at minute 7, moist sand starts to grow and gain on water, and it heats up to a few degrees hotter than water. Now, right here at minute 12, so what we did is we shined a light source on these 3 these 3 types of environments, and we measured what temperature each one was every minute. And then after minute 12, we turned the light off, and then we measured the temperature as there was no heat source. And you can see that the dry sand drops off pretty quickly. And so we can see that in this data, dry sand, land, which the dry sand is representing land, heats up and cools faster than water. Moist sand also heats up faster and cools faster than water. So what I want you to do is use this information to plot graphs for both labs 1.6 and in 1.8, and then use your graphs to answer the questions. What I'm going to do is provide an answer key with the video lecture and explanation for you to check your answers. And that's the end of part 4. Yay!